The people who gave the world the number zero never sat in a classroom. The people who invented surgery never took an exam. The country that once taught the word today can't teach millions of its children to read a single page. How does a civilization go from being the world's greatest teacher to this? Somewhere in history, we lost something, something invisible, something priceless, and almost nobody noticed it vanish. By the end of this video, I am going to show you exactly what we lost, the precise moment it slipped away, and why finding it again might be the most important thing India ever does. I promise you, you will never look at a school the same again. But to understand what we lost, we first have to go back to very beginning and ask a question so simple most people never do. Forget schools, uniforms, marks, degrees. Forget schools, uniforms, marks, degrees. Strip it all away and ask, what is education? What is education really is at its core? Most people think education is equal to schools, uniforms, marks, degrees. Schools, uniforms, marks, and degree. But those are just tools invented recently. They are not education. Break it down to the bedrock, the one truth underneath everything. Education simply means passing knowledge from one mind to another, one mind to the another. So the next person does not start from zero. A parent teaching a child to walk, a grandmother's recipe, an elder showing to how to plant. None of it needs a building or an exam, but it's all education. Hold on to this simple truth. It's the key that unlocks the whole mystery. Why does passing knowledge matter so much? Because it's humanity's superpower which no other animals has. A tiger today knows nothing more than a tiger 10,000 years ago. Every tiger starts from zero, but a human child starts with the stacked knowledge of millions before them. Fire, farming, maths, medicine. Education is the safe game of the human race. Each generation saves its progress and hands the controller to the next. It's why we went from caves to computers. And here is the warning that matters for later. Delete the safe game. Stop passing. If we stop passing the knowledge and within the two generation, humanity falls back to the stone age. Remember that it comes back. For almost all of human history, no schools, no books, no exams. So how did they pass knowledge? Four ways. They have been passing knowledge by four ways. The first one is watching and doing. Watching and doing. Watching and doing. A child copied an adult, making a tool, and practiced. Learning by doing. The second one is oral tradition. Oral tradition, before writing the knowledge, it was lived in the memory. India memorized the Veda word perfect to over 1,000 years before writing them down. The third one is apprenticeship. Apprenticeship. You learnt a craft by living beside a master. The fourth one is the tribe and family. The tribe and family. Survival knowledge passed daily. Everyone a student and a teacher. Have you noticed something common? Have you noticed it? All four are pure curiosity. Curiosity. Then observation. Curiosity, observation, doing, and teaching. The four common things are curiosity, observation, doing, and teaching. No fear, no cramping, no one size exam, just real learning. Keep this feeling in mind because this is the something we about to watch disappear. Now the part that pays off the cold open. Remember those images I opened with. Here is the truth behind them. With no modern school, just curiosity, observation, and trial and error, ancient India gave the words things we still use to build today's technology. Zero, zero, and decimal system. Aryabhatta, the foundation of all modern maths, computers, and AIs. No zero, no digital world. Then surgery. Surgery. Even nose reconstruction written in the Sushruta Samhita. Then astronomy. Astronomy, the length of the year and eclipses calculated by watching the sky. Panini's Sanskrit grammar, so logical. Computer scientists study today it. The gut punch, the foundation of your smartphone. Zero, number, logic were built by people with no schools, no exams, no degrees. So maybe the system was never what made us smart. The learning did. And back then, India was the knowledge capital of the world. So when did the system begins? System begin with 2 points. The first point is writing. Writing. Now the knowledge could be stored outside the brain on a clay tablets. On a clay tablets to manage records. The world's first school appeared, the Eduba, which means house of tablets. Eduba, the house of tablets, to build to train scribes for kings. Note the point. Scribes for kings. It has been written to train the scribe for kings, not to make curious humans. Not to make the curious humans, to make record keepers. The second point is India's golden age, the Gurukul. Gurukul. The Gurukul, students lived with a guru, learning subjects and character, often free, rich or poor. Then India built the world's first great university, Takshashila. Takshashila. Students crossed mountains and deserts from China. Remember China. Then Korea. China, Korea, Tibet. China, Korea, Tibet to learn India. China, Korea, Tibet to learn India. 8,000 years ago, the world come to us to learn. The world come to us to India to learn. Sit with that. India. Now back to the mystery I opened with. What did we lose and when? Here it is. So we proved education is equal to passing the education is equal to passing the knowledge. The real learning is equal to curiosity. The real learning equal to curiosity. Then observation. Then doing. The real the real learning equal to curiosity, observation, doing, and one more teaching. Teaching. And that buildings, exams, and degrees are just tools invented. Remember, invented to train the scribes and clerks. To train the scribes, clerks, not the thinkers. Not thinkers. This is the main point. It has been used to train the scribes and clerks, not the thinkers. So here is the invisible thing that vanished. Somewhere along the way, we confused the tools for the thing itself. We started worshipping the building, mark sheet, the degree, and quietly lost the soul of education. Soul of education. What we lost? The soul of education, which is curiosity, observation, doing, and teaching. Curiosity, observation, doing, and teaching. That's the tragedy behind the images I opened with. Ancient Indians with no exams give the world zero and surgery. Not the point? Zero and surgery. Today we have exams, degrees, and a 58,000 crore 58,000 crore coaching industry. Yet only about 23% of our class 3 kids can read a class 2 book. How? Because we kept the shell of education. We just kept shell of the education. We just kept the shell of education and lost the soul of education. So, understanding education from the first principle. From the first principle tells us exactly how to fix it. Not more buildings, not more exams. A return to real learning. That's all we lost. That's the whole reason this channel exists. That's the mission. That's part 2. Subscribe, because once you learn who corrupted the flame, you will understand everything wrong with education today. And in comments, tell me, did you learn more from a classroom or from doing? In comments, did you learn from a classroom or by doing more things? Please comment. How did you learn new things in a classroom or from doing more things? Let's begin.